1 in 10 children aspire to become famous. First, let's start with the train wrecks. These are people who are always on that fast lane. They seem to be speeding out of control with no idea as to what stop they're going to get off at. And unfortunately, most of them ride the train until it crashes. This is what happens when you don't have guidance in life, when you just throw abandon to the wind and decide that I'm going to just keep this party going to the end. Born Norma Jean Baker in 1926, Marilyn Monroe traveled far from her humble roots on this very same train that would wreck her in the end. She wound up straight in the epicenter of Hollywood. Her hourglass figure and pale skin, accented with that scarlet red lipstick, made her an unparalleled icon of American beauty and sexuality. Marilyn's childlike quality added some vulnerability to her image, and it struck a chord with millions of men and women. In fact, Miss Monroe's influence was so strong that even today, her image still garners millions of dollars for her estate through the plastering of her face on everything from posters to coffee mugs. At the top of her game, roles in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Some Like It Hot put her over the top, creating a cinematic icon. But behind that platinum blonde allure masked an anxious, depressed young woman who even had difficulty showing up on the set on time, and even more difficulty sustaining the relationships that she claimed were so important to her. She had failed marriages to the playwright Arthur Miller and Joe DiMaggio, the baseball legend, and these relationships left her feeling lost and alone, so much that Marilyn took pills to ease her pain, and her reputation for being difficult to work with intensified. Ill-fated affairs with the Kennedy brothers stained her image, and even further, as she spiraled downward, she faced the prospect of life as an aging beauty with a history of health problems and miscarriages. Marilyn died of an overdose of barbiturates in Brentwood, California, on August 5, 1962. And although her death is the subject of countless conspiracy theories, the medical examiner labeled her death a probable suicide. Another train wreck whose life mimicked that of Marilyn Monroe almost verbatim was that of Anna Nicole Smith. Born on November 28, 1967 in Mexia, Texas, Anna Nicole Smith rose to fame as a model. She was named Playboy's Playmate of the Year in 1993. Then in 1994, she wed 89-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall II when she was only 26. Marshall soon died, and Smith spent years fighting for her share of her late husband's estate. Marshall had vast stock in Koch Industries, which is the largest privately owned company in America. Koch Industries is linked through marriage to the Bush family via President Bush's sister, Dorothy Bush Koch. Now, my research into the Illuminati networks has shown a connection between Dorothy and the Rothschild Empire and Opus Dei. Dorothy obviously isn't in Kansas anymore. The Koch Empire is involved in many interesting matters. Had Anna Nicole won her share of the Marshalls' estate, she would have been involved and had a right to their murky inner dealings, which are known to few. Prior to her death, Anna Nicole had starred in her own reality show, and this was from 2002 to 2004. The circumstances surrounding Smith's death are suspect, to say the least. But in 2007, the official coroner's report stated that Smith died of an accidental overdose. My guess is that the elite could not allow a stripper from a two-bit town in Texas get access to a matter of rights to their secret information and the power. Thus, she had to therefore join all the other beautiful women that knew too much, saw too much, and had to be dispatched to the other side. Of all the people in this video, Whitney Houston was quite possibly the most unlikely candidate for train wreck status. Her beauty queen looks, mesmerizing vocal ability, and her clean-cut Christian image made her seem too polished and too pulled together to fall so very low, so very fast. From the beginnings as an Arista recording artist in the 80s, she took the world by storm with hit records, constant video play on MTV, and acting roles in successful films like the 90s hit The Bodyguard, co-starring Kevin Costner. Houston was one of pop music's best-selling artists of all time, with an estimated 170 to 200 million records sold worldwide. And she was the only artist to chart 7 consecutive #1 Billboard Hot 100 hits. But there was more to Whitney than met the eye. Her marriage to Bobby Brown seemed to bring out some hidden, deeper issues. When the 90s ended, Whitney found herself on the skids, and she was weakened by a rumored addiction to crack cocaine. And it was later found out to be true. She took custody, however, of her daughter following her divorce from Brown in 2006. On the night of the 2012 Grammy Awards, Whitney Houston was found dead in her guest room at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California. The official coroner's report showed that she had accidentally drowned in the bathtub, and it was stated that heart disease and cocaine were contributing factors. Tragically, in only 3 short years, Whitney and Bobby's daughter, Bobby Christina, would also join her mother in death. Bobby Christina Brown was born March 4, 1993, and she was an American reality television and media personality, singer, and actress. Her parents' fame kept Bobby Christina in the public eye, including her appearances on the reality show Being Bobby Brown. Bobby Christina was 14 when her parents divorced, and Whitney gained sole custody. When Whitney died in February of 2012, Bobby Christina was named as the sole beneficiary of her mother's estate. That October, Brown caused controversy, however, when she announced her engagement to Nick Gordon, and this was a man that Whitney had adopted and whom Bobby Christina grew up considering her big brother. When the couple announced that, Whitney didn't officially adopt Nick Gordon, but he was raised in the household as Bobby Christina's big brother. When the couple announced that they were married, Bobby Brown's lawyer, Bobby Christina's father, had his lawyer release a statement disputing the report. Bobby Christina was found unresponsive in a bathtub in January of 2015, and despite being kept in a medically induced coma for several months, Bobby Christina Brown died in a hospice on July 26, 2015, at the age of 22. Born Jamal Barrow, Shine, a young and gifted New York rapper, joined Puffy's Bad Boy Camp in 1999, shortly before the episode that would define his life, and it occurred on December 27th of that same year. That night, a shooting incident, which occurred at Club New York in Manhattan, immortalized the rapper via much publicized legal skirmish that resulted in a stiff 10-year prison sentence, and it also resulted in the acquittal of the co-defendant, Puff Daddy. Now, Shine would remain far better known for this story than for his music. And here's how the story played out in the media. A shootout at Club New York left Shine, Puff Daddy, and Puffy's then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, to flee. 3 people were wounded in the shooting. Police then caught up with the fleeing bad boys and ultimately charged Shine and Puffy with numerous crimes. Shine for attempted murder in the second degree, assault in the first and second degree, 1 count of reckless endangerment, criminal use of a firearm, and criminal possession of a weapon in the first and second degrees. Puffy for felony gun possession, as well as 1 count of bribing a witness with a diamond ring that he'd been given by J.Lo. Now, the court hearings in June 2000 were a media circus at the time. Puffy, now known as Diddy, and Lopez were celebrity icons, and Shine had become notorious overnight despite his lack of recording output. When it was all over and done with a year later, Puffy was acquitted of all charges while Shine was convicted on 2 counts of assault, including first-degree count for shooting Natanya Rubin in the face, reckless endangerment, and gun possession. In the course of the court proceedings, he admitted to firing a gun in the club. Then he argued that he did so in self-defense. Regardless, he had to pack his bag, and he embarked on a 10-year prison sentence. He could have faced it. He could have faced up to 25 years, though, so it could have been much worse. Just 2 weeks after the shooting incident, the LA Times reported that BMG, the company that owned Bad Boy at the time, was considering shelving Shine's album, which was due to be released that same year. And they also were considering severing ties with Bad Boy altogether. But that didn't happen, as commercial interests obviously overruled ethical considerations. BMG retained its very lucrative ties to Bad Boy, and Shine's debut album did finally surface on September 26 of 2000. The shooting scandal helped garner interest in the release, and the self-titled album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard album chart. It wasn't a bona fide success, however, because neither of its singles, Bad Boys and That's Gangster, was a big hit, despite the media circus and the publicity and the strong marketing push on behalf of BMG. The album still died a quick and quiet commercial death. And that was pretty much the end of Shine. He was locked away in the Clinton Correctional Facility, and his fan base was minimal, and they also were very forgetful. Shine was eventually released, and he became a Orthodox Jew. And surprisingly, I even seen him at a fashion show with Diddy during Fashion Week, but he was dressed in his Orthodox regalia, complete with his curls and his hat. And last I heard, he was deported, back to, I forget where he was from. It's not the Bahamas, Belize. I got it. He was deported back to Belize, and he can no longer return to the States. Sometimes the price we pay for fame is simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Take the case of Dino O'Connor. He was 28 and he was the lead singer of the group H-Town. He was killed along with his girlfriend in 2003. They had just left the studio when their vehicle was struck by an SUV that ran a red light. The group had rose to prominence with their smash hit, Knocking the Boots. Then there's the lovely Natasha Saad, who was born October 31st, 1974, and she was also known as Little T and Natasha. She was a Danish rapper and reggae singer whose vocals on a popular U.S. and European remix of Calabria gained her fame and a crazy following. The song also gained a #1 spot on the Billboard Hot Dance Airplay chart 6 months after her death in a car accident. It's amazing. I just want to pause here and just say it's amazing how a lot of times when these stars pass away, their music then becomes even more popular in death than it did in life. Their music, their movies, whatever it was that their creativity was loaned to, it seems to skyrocket. after the person's death. Natasha died on June 24th, 2007 in a car accident in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Two other passengers were critically injured, but Natasha's friend, Danish singer Karen Makupa, was relatively unhurt. And she and the other injured were rushed to Spanish Town Hospital, and that is where Natasha died. Sometimes the price of fame is paid by a family member instead of the celebrity. One case that immediately comes to mind is the case of Michael Jordan, who was an ideal sports hero. His $1 million smile helped sell millions of dollars of sneakers, and his godlike moves on the court helped the Chicago Bulls win 6 championships. But his seemingly perfect life was shattered on July 23, 1993, when his beloved father, James, was brutally murdered in North Carolina. Only days before his 57th birthday, James Jordan was on his way home when he stopped to take a nap at a rest stop on Interstate 95. Two men, Daniel Green and Larry Martin Demery, shot James once in the chest and stole his car. James' body wasn't found until 10 days later in a swamp in South Carolina, 30 miles from where he'd been shot. Both Demery and Green were both convicted and are serving life sentences. Comedian Bill Cosby had made millions laugh with his family-oriented brand of humor, and he often brought up his children in his stand-up routines. That all changed on January 16, 1997, when Cosby's son Ennis was brutally murdered. He was the third of 5 children in the Cosby household, and the then 28-year-old had pulled over on IS 405 in Los Angeles to change a tire. He was approached by Mikhail Markasev, who wanted to rob him. Markasev shot Ennis in the head and was later convicted of the crime. Bill Cosby later started a scholarship in his son's honor, as well as the Hello Friend Ennis William Cosby Foundation to aid those with learning disabilities. Bipolar disorder, formerly known as manic depression, affects approximately 5.7 million American adults, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, and that includes many famous people. Now, one thing that fame will bring is it brings out all of the fans, which is actually an abbreviation of the word fanatics. And I've always believed that there's an inherent responsibility that comes with being a celebrity. These celebrities have chosen a profession that makes them famous, and they need to accept the notoriety and always be nice and courteous to fans. However, stalkers, of whom 90% suffer from mental disorders such as bipolar, paranoia, psychosis, and schizophrenia, take the natural yearning to connect with another person to perverse extremes. The more visible celebrities become, the more vulnerable they are to obsessed, fanatical fans. And there's a lot of cases where fans have actually killed the object of their idolatry, the person that they actually loved and idolized. Then they went and they killed them. So where do I want to end with this? This is where I want to end with it. I want to say that, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, Yeshua, was the most important celebrity of all. Yet he possessed nothing but the clothes on his back. As he hung on the cross, the Roman soldiers divided up his garments into 4 small piles of clothing, and there was not a single designer label among them. In Matthew 16:26, it says, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul?" And that is the point of this presentation, the price of fame. Are you ready to pay that price? Lord, I come to you today because my heart is heavy with the knowledge that there are so many young people who are in performing arts schools. They're studying and wishing and going to these different various auditions and hoping and praying for fame. They're praying that their gift will become acknowledged by millions, and they're praying that they will make money performing the gift that you have given them. They do not realize that all gifts come from you, and as such, will be blessed by you. They do not have to worry about the money, Lord, because that too comes from you. However, if we don't have our priorities in perspective, Lord, they don't know that the opposite can be the case, that they can wind up paying a very dear price for the fame that they covet so much, especially when they want it for the wrong things. There are some people who want to be famous so they can get all the girls or so they can get all the boys. There are others who want a lot of money so that they can just buy things and boast about what they've got and use things and money to control people and to win friends. And they do not know, or maybe they do know, that this is wrong, but apparently they do not care. So I'm asking you, Lord, in the mighty name of Yeshua, help the people to see that material riches at this time and at any time during their life is not what matters most. What matters most is that we are preparing to receive you, Lord, because all of those things, they rust and they go away. Nothing lasts forever. We cannot take these things with us. Help us to richen and make wealthy our souls and our spirits and our hearts and our minds, so that we can leave everlasting gifts on this earth that will help the youth to see and to know what really, really matters in this lifetime. I pray these things in the mighty name of Yeshua. Thank you. Amen.